as involved. I think in Houston, we're all recording now. I think in Houston, we've gotten, agencies have gotten really involved, but still from a organization standpoint, it really started out as broadcasters, and it still kind of skews that way from a national perspective. And then you can see here, it was really based on this educational foundation. Let's, encourage people, let's bring people up. They had, in 1975, they began their annual award ceremony. And it turned into, in 1997, it turned into the Gracies. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that. And it was named after Gracie Allen, which I'm sure most of y'all have no idea who she is, or her husband, George Allen. And then in 2010, they switched their name to Alliance for Women in Media because it really didn't include digital agencies, et cetera. So it was really broadened so that it didn't just feel that you had to be in TV and radio to be a part of it. So Gracie's, this is something I really didn't know a lot about until a couple of years ago when we were at the regional meeting. And they kept talking about the Gracies. So Becky Brooks is the executive director of Alliance for Women in Media. And that's all she talked about. And I remember turning to Karen and saying, gosh, I don't know anything about the Gracies. Like all she's talking about is if like this is the most important thing of AWM. And really taking a step back, that really is. I mean, from the national perspective, this is really where they make their money. And this is the highest profile event that they have that really gets the people from the outside world into this organization and supports them. And Gracie Allen is she was an actress, a personality. Her husband, does anybody know who George Burns? Anyone? Okay, do you remember, what was the movie? I was actually gonna have something in here. It was about God. Oh, he played, someone help me out. Y'all saw this. It was someone in the chat. Oh, never heard of him. I love it. He was in a movie. Okay, Liz, Google that. George Burns movie. It was like God, something or another. But anyway, it was like 1980s, really good. He was very famous. He lived to, I think, about 100 or so. But anyway, the awards were really named after her. And the awards include TV. You could be from an actress to a producer, radio, digital media, and it's all about people who are making things for women, about women. And I've actually been a judge the last 2 years, and it's been really great to be able, I almost felt like I was judging the Oscars or something. And the opportunities to be involved on a national level, there are regional meetings, although there's been one that I've been to. I think they used to have more in the past, and then they it's been harder, especially with COVID. Gracie's voting, which is actually open right now. So if anybody is interested in being a judge, I just got an email yesterday. Y'all contact me later, send me an email and I'll forward you that information. But I would highly recommend, I know last year, I think Alberto, Amanda, and I were all judges. 2 years ago, right, but it was like my last flight I took before the pandemic. I flew to Philadelphia and went to Odyssey, to their headquarters in Philadelphia, and I voted there. So we used to all get into groups and do voting, and you would watch whatever category you're voting for, you would actually watch the videos or listen to the radio personalities, et cetera, and then vote. Last year it was all virtual. I'm not sure what they're doing this year, but there's definitely availability for y'all to get involved on a national level. So any questions or any other thoughts on Alliance for Women in Media?
I Googled
Called Oh God.
Yeah, George Burns for you. It is called Oh God, and he did several others. Oh God, you devil, and he died at exactly 100 years old.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Thank you. So a little more history here, guys, for y'all. Then when you start talking about affiliates, so there you've got your overarching AWM. And as y'all know, we are not an Alliance for Women Media of Houston. We decided 10 years ago when we were changing our name from AWRT to go with Media Alliance of Houston because we had a lot of male involvement as well. And we didn't want to feel like anyone was discriminated. So we felt like in Houston, and we could make that choice, to really kind of make it more inclusive than just calling it women in the name. So we're really the only affiliate that I know in the US that does that. So that's really great, because like Alberto was our first male president last year, and which was awesome. And so we definitely encourage Matt and Juan and a few of y'all that are here. We love men too. So, keep that going. And we like to keep it, everybody's involved. So the largest affiliates are really Southern California, which makes sense, LA, DFW, Austin, Houston. I'd say those, from my experience of being involved and kind of hearing the other affiliates, those are the ones that are the largest.
Interesting, nothing on like the East Coast, really.
No, I haven't heard a lot about New York. What I find in my experience, like when I worked at GSD&M in Austin, we were a national agency, so we really didn't get involved on a local level. Like I never went to anything for AWRT or AWM in Austin and never even had heard of it. Here in Houston, we're so local focused that we do have such a good community. And I think that's probably what's happening to New York. They're big, big agencies. So all of those people there, it's not even on their radar to get involved. But California, Southern California, you've got a little bit of mixing of local and national, but they've just got a really good chapter. And I would encourage everyone, especially those who are on the board now, go to the website and look to see what they're doing, because it's always great to be able to steal ideas from other affiliates and to know what they've got. But they have a lot of different things going on. They even had some like Book Fest. So it's really interesting. I know Amanda, who's the president now, there's some regional meetings, and I do believe she got to hear, and that's where everybody shares about what each affiliate is doing and really sharing ideas. But I had not been to their website, and boy, they had a lot of events. So still doing lots of events even with COVID. DFW is another one of the larger affiliates. I did go to their gala about 10 years ago, and a lot of people, about 500 people. But one thing that was different is at their gala, they all went and they all left. Like for us, like we all stay, and it's like we just have such a great group. So it's definitely a little bit different vibe, but they do have a really big chapter, and it is larger in than Houston, just because they do have more agencies and more stations, et cetera, in Dallas. It's really more driven by the agency world and the clients, et cetera, but they do have a large chapter. And then Austin is smaller. And one of the things too that's really, really important, and I'll talk about this a little bit in a moment, is the board. And it's really, really important when you're on the board that everybody keeps recycling. You're president for a year. You're not president for multiple years, because one, you're going to get tired of it. Two, people are going to feel like, oh, well, that person's always been the president. How can I ever be the president? And what I have heard is in Austin and Dallas, they actually have a hard time getting their people recycled and getting new people in. So sometimes if you go to the Dallas or Austin and you go to like the About Us page and you see who are the leadership positions, you'll see some of the same pictures of multiple positions, because they literally cannot get people to be part of it, which we are so lucky we don't have that issue. And that's why this Making Access Happen is so important. And I really appreciate every single one of y'all on the call, because that just tells me, one, you want to learn, and one, you want to get involved. And that's the only way we stay fresh and we stay with new ideas and new people, because we want to build up people with their careers, and we want to keep getting new people in positions. So now moving over to Houston, in 2010, that's when we changed our name from American Women in Radio and Television to Media Alliance of Houston. And those that were on the board at the time, that was really a decision that they made. And this is straight from the website about what our mission is, but it's to act as a foundation of leaders with a unity of purpose to promote progress and create change in the Houston area. And our opportunities, and this is one of them, and this is why I wanted y'all to introduce yourselves, is really networking. I mean, that's what it's about. How hard has it been 2 years for us not to be able to see each other? Because really that is what we've been able, or we want to do, is this is how you get to know people. We have a job bank, And we have Battle of the Ad Stars, which a lot of y'all probably have been a part of, and some of y'all might not have been, but it's coming back this year. Fingers crossed, everything works out well. And that's really fun. And it's kind of like the advertising field day. And then the Star Awards, which I'll talk about in a moment. We also have scholarships, which is a great committee to be a part of. And those scholarships goes to juniors and seniors in advertising. And that's something that has just been really great to give back to our the future of our industry and those who are going to college around Houston or even A&M, UT, other cities. But the requirement is that you have an intent to work in Houston and media when you graduate. Now, any questions so far? Any thoughts? Okay, keep rolling. And then here is what I want to focus on. These are the current board. So you'll see Naja's name, our president-elect. And so this is really important to know. These are the elected positions. So these are the ones that I'm parliamentarian. So my job in January, February, and March will be to start gathering a small group of people who are leaders in the Houston market that will help to elect the next board. And so you are, it's an appointed position, and it's really based on your experience in being a part of a committee. So you do need to be part of a committee that then allows everybody in our organization to see that, yes, you showed up. Yes, you have done a great job. You're great to work with. You're committed, and then you can get appointed to continue to grow. And this is where I would encourage all of you, if you have not been on the board before, or if you have not been on a committee, this is a great place to start. And the committees that are really great and the ones that are needed, programming. So Chris Caldwell is programming. I did programming a few years ago, and my committee was awesome. Judy Lakin was actually on my committee. I didn't know Judy very well at all. And that's how I got to know her. And some of y'all might know Judy. She, was a DOS at Cox Media for many years. And that was how she had a higher position than me, but I didn't know her, but she was on my committee. I led her, but it was a great way for me to get to know people. And my committee really helped in order for us to know and to organize the programming. So this is a great one. If you really love to be able to get, and we're going to go back in person, fingers crossed, in July, we'll go back to our luncheons in person. That would be a good committee to be a part of. The big one is fundraising, and Stephanie McKee is leading that right now, which y'all probably seen a lot of emails from her. And that one has multiple committees. I know Madison, I've wrangled Madison and Maria, they're part of that committee. And that's a great one because you need so much work. It is a big, big job. This voting and everything, and I'll talk more about that, is a huge, huge job and takes a lot of commitment. And then Liz is highlighted too, her committee, networking. Liz and I worked together last year on networking. And this is a great one too, to help plan events, especially as we come back into person and working together. Be really, really good. So these to me are the best ones that usually are the ones that have committee members. And that's not appointed. Like Liz being on the networking committee, she can just go to whoever she wants to, or you can raise your hand, absolutely, or she can handpick you. But it is one of those where, hey, everybody is welcome.
Yeah, and Kelly, I'll say I start working or volunteering with MAH on the fundraising committee with Gala, because it was the last gala we had, 2020. And it was, and I'll say it was the first experience I really had getting to know people on the board. And it was a great way to get your foot, your toe in the water. And I met a lot of people that way, because for a while I didn't know. I would show up to the luncheons, listen, maybe wave to a few of the people I knew, and then left. And just in a 2-year period, I know so many more people in MAH. And it's been a great experience, but it did just take volunteering just for the fundraising committee. And then it just, you quickly get to know everyone. And it's very welcoming once, because I know it can seem intimidating, like, oh, this group that's the board seems like they all know each other so well. But a lot of us have just started by volunteering one time, and then So everyone on the board is really welcoming. So once you get your foot, in the door, and it's not hard to do, you just have to raise your hand. It is a great opportunity. So just wanted to throw that out there.
Yeah. Does anybody else have a personal story? Karen, anybody else on the spot of how y'all started? It's like a test. Are you listening? They're not listening. I'm kidding. Well, I'll keep going. And I know, Naja, you told us your story, which is awesome. So the gala.
Oh, sorry, Kelley. I was trying to get you out of unmute. For me,
Okay, tell us your story, Karen.
Yes, for me it was amazing. I was brand new in the market, brand new in Houston. I just moved from Ecuador. And one of the best advices that my ex-husband gave me was just to get connected with the groups that we have in Houston. And Media Alliance of Houston was so welcoming. And they were so, like, I talked with Selena and she was like, you have to talk with Crystal because she's going to be the new president. And she was so welcoming. She involved me, and the group was already, like, they knew each other, but they were so nice and everybody was so friendly. And for me, in the professional and in the personal level, was just a great way to get connected. I started just from being a secretary and I advanced to be the president a few years later. So I think that is just a fantastic way to get connected with peers and just know more about the industry, and also just give back to the industry and help. So, like, it's a great experience. I have so many happy memories and so many great stories about it.
Oh, thanks, Karen. Absolutely. And one of my first experiences, I had just moved here. So I moved back to here from here, but I moved back to Houston 16 years ago. And I had just started, I guess I had been working in Houston for maybe like 4 or 5 months because this was February. It was a gala. And Chuck Carlberg, who was my boss, he's like, hey, there's a gala. You need to come with us. And I was like, okay. So I brought a dress, changed in my office, brushed my hair. And I was like, I guess I'm ready for a gala, and went. I knew no one. I remember looking around that room and there was 200 people and they all knew each other. And I looked around and I was like, how in the world do these people know each other? I don't know anybody. And I remember we were kind of sitting in the back and I felt uncomfortable and I was like, okay, well, I'm here with Chuck. And then I was here with somebody else. And the person who we were at the table with, it was one of our buyers, and she was up for buyer of the year and she won it. And I was like, this is amazing. Like, I didn't know anything about all of this. And that was my first kind of foray into that. And a couple years later, it took me to actually get involved in the organization when somebody asked me to say, they asked me, hey, do you want to be part of scholarships? And I'm like, sure. I remember going to the gala and, absolutely. But what's so funny about that story is, fast forward now, do you know what we do when we go to the gala? Like, I do Rent the Runway, I get my hair done, I get my makeup done. I mean, I'm not in the days anymore where I'll get changed in an office and go to a gala anymore. So it's really funny. And now I know a lot of people, so it's really, really special. So those of y'all who are new, it doesn't matter where you start, just give it some time and get involved, and it really will pay off. So the gala that we're going to have this year, we're super, super excited about. And there's really, what it's about is to honor those in award ceremony. And also there is a Silver Star honoree every single year. This year it's Jay Sitta. And the Silver Star is really someone who has been in the market for a while, who's shown a lot of leadership, always encourages their people to be involved. And this is actually Karen's boss, is Jay Sitta. He has always been so supportive. And Naja, I know you work for him too, always been so supportive of people getting involved. And he's been in the business for over 20 years plus here in Houston. And then, so what we're going to do is honor him. And then, as y'all might have known, because a lot of you probably did vote, is that you'll see there's lots of awards. And through the years, the awards have really expanded. It used to be really primarily radio and television, but then as more agencies got involved, we added more agency awards, then we added more digital awards. So every single year, those are evaluated to make sure they're still relevant. And then what happens is, right now there's the finalists, and those finalists then do an essay. It's all taken out of the market. So it's very official. It's not just a popularity contest. And I know back in the day, people said, oh, it's just a popularity contest. But really, when you see the people that end up winning, I mean, they're so involved. It's also 55% is off of an essay and your name's not attached to it. So there's really a methodology to this whole gala thing, but it's very, very special. It's a lot of work to pull off. Naja, do you want to add anything? I know you're in the middle of it right now. How's it going?
So it's always a ride. I think I might have volunteered with Gala. This might be my third or fourth time doing it. And it's always a ride, but it's so amazing to see what we can raise as far as fundraising goes and helping those students get those scholarships. It's incredible. It's such a fun time. I remember my first one, I was like, wow, these people are crazy. But it was also my first job in media. And so I came from Wells Fargo. That was moons ago. But it is really like an amazing event. We're always looking for volunteers. It is an incredible way to get to meet new people, potentially new bosses, new clients, new coworkers. You just never know. The media industry is, one big but kind of small, happy family, and we're all everywhere. So you never know who you'll end up working for or who will end up working for you. And so a lot of the people I've had the opportunity to work with, I met at Gala. So if you're not, already volunteering and you're interested, or maybe your company's table is already filled up, it's a great way to come on that, in that way too. So we're looking for volunteers on that as well. I feel like every time I get on here, I'm like, listen, come join, come work with us.
Raise your hand. And Naja, you made a great point. It is all about raising money. Why we have the gala, it's not just to give somebody a trophy. It literally is our biggest fundraiser of the year. And that's what Media Alliance is, a nonprofit. We are there to raise money so that we can give scholarships back. There's multiple scholarships, whether that is for junior or senior. We also have people who have passed that their scholarships named after them. And the gala is also a time to honor those who have passed in the last couple of years. And so it's just a great way for all of us to get together, raise money for scholarships, and just honor each other. So it's just very, very special, very special. And here's where I've got a couple quotes. And this is kind of rounding things out. It's about 12:40, and I want to make sure that everybody, can go and have some lunch. But I asked some past leaders and some past presidents really to give me a quote as to what Media Alliance has done for their career. And so here's just a couple of them. And it's kind of what all of us have been saying. MAH has given us access to people at all levels of the industry, becoming comfortable with people at different levels, gave them confidence to go after jobs they maybe weren't qualified for because they just knew they had that support. And then this one I think is really important for everyone to know is that it's important for you to be the best version of yourself when volunteering. You're communicating what kind of employee you will be. For example, if you say you're going to do something and in the nonprofit world and then don't do it and you're professional, it really can kind of, it's just a reflection of you. So just, always think about that, do your best and get back. It feels good and it will help your career. So just a great quote there. And I've got a couple more. And one of them, again, networking. I met tons of people, especially when I was doing hospitality. That's one, if you are some of y'all here that are just 1, 2, 3 years out of college, this is a great one to do. When we go back into person in July, we'll need some people at the very front, registering everybody as they walk through. And we call that hospitality. That's also taking in the RSVP. So it's a great position to have. It says, not everybody knew me, but I did get to know who everybody else was. The value of knowing who is who in the media market was helpful for me when doing my job. I was introduced to many folks I might not have met. The business side, when I picked up an account or an agency as a seller, I at least had some name recognition. And even now, as someone who's responsible for hiring and retaining talent, I do look at what volunteer activities people participate in. So it's really great. It's almost like trying to get into college, where you're like, your mom's telling you, oh, you need to do this volunteer and do this. It's the same thing. It does not stop, even when we get older. Here's another one. I would say that I have met people through networking, Star Awards, Battle of the AdSarts, and then this person's been on the board for 17 years. It's really helped their career, from connections they've made to having the pulse on the market and understanding what our industry is doing. And then also just being part of that scholarship committee. And that was the first committee I was on as well. And it was great. That's where you're really connected to those college students and being able to help them out. And then this was actually from me. I had a quote too. So this is kind of what I've been saying is I wouldn't be where I am if now, if I hadn't said yes to being on the scholarship committee 11 years ago. I absolutely love being part of the organization, who I've met, and the expanded network I have. I have kept saying yes for the past 11 years while I'm here right now, and I've been part of multiple leadership positions. It's now important for the next generation to continue the momentum, volunteer, bring new ideas, and to continue making MAH Houston one of the best in the country. I think, okay, questions, yay. So that's what I have. I would love to hear from anybody else who has been part of the organization, or maybe some of the senior people or any of the young people, if y'all have questions or thoughts, something maybe I didn't cover. Anyone want to raise their hand? Any questions? Someone's got to have a question.
And if you don't feel comfortable coming off mute, go ahead and put it in the chat and we can just get it from there. Or you can send it to me directly too if you want to stay anonymous.
I'll go. This is Matt from Quantcast. So this has been really helpful, for somebody looking to be involved more. So if we do want to, step up and volunteer, like kind of a dumb question, but what's the easiest way to reach out and do that? Is it just on the website?
No, I would definitely, you can email, I would say maybe email me or Naja, because Naja's president-elect. She can help you get in touch with Amanda and get on a committee. Like if you want to be a sponsor, I mean, Quantcast can also be a sponsor.
Yeah, which we are doing that, but just
okay.
Individually would love to kind of get more involved.
Yeah, but like Matt, if you wanted to help out with Gala, then email myself or Naja, and then or Liz, because Liz is on this, one of us. But I would go, website's great, but I would say email one of us and really look to think about where do you want to get involved. Obviously, we'd start as a committee. The best one would probably right now either Gala, or if it's next year, start thinking about what you would want to, like what direction you want to go into.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Thank you.
And outside of Gala, I know Battle of the Ad Stars, they're looking for some help there. So that'd be a great way too, because I know Gala's crazy enough to like 2 months away, but Battle of the Ad Stars could be cool too.
Okay, for sure. Thanks.
Does everybody,
Also,
go ahead, Naja.
we dropped our emails in the chat if you didn't see it and you were looking for the email.
So is everybody ready to get involved now? Lots of thumbs up. Okay, well, Liz, I don't have anything else. And it's a good 12:44.
Yeah, well, I guess we can give everyone 15 minutes to eat some lunch. But y'all, thank you guys so much for joining today. Hope you guys got something out of it. My email address is in the chat. So if you do want to get involved, or you can reach out to Naja or Kelley, how they said, please reach out. Also, if there's something for Making Access that you'd really like to see or hear on a topic, working on the planning for next calendar year, I'd love to hear from you guys. I want to make this as valuable as possible for you. And then if you have any other coworkers or peers in the industry that are just starting out, please let them know that this part of Media Alliance is happening monthly, and is a great way for them to get involved in a more intimate group, so they feel comfortable raising their hand. Thank you, Kelley. I really appreciate it.
Thank y'all. Thank you so much for everybody's time. I really appreciate it. I look forward to seeing everybody at Gala and the next luncheons, and just, we need y'all. We need every single one of y'all. I know y'all all have great experience and great ideas. So really appreciate everybody's time and look forward to y'all becoming the future leaders. Bye.
Bye. Happy holidays.
Thank you.
Bye.
Happy
Merry Christmas,
holidays.
everybody.
Hi, thank you.
Bye. Thanks.